The economic assessments of Theresa May's Brexit deal are in. Whether they come from the government, the Bank of England or independent think tanks, they say the same thing. All Brexit routes will leave Britain worse off than staying in the EU. Remainers say this proves leaving the EU will impoverish the nation. Brexiters say the reports are hysterical. So what's really going on with these studies when you lift the lid? What do these forecasts say? OK, I'll stop you there. These reports are not strictly forecasts. A forecast is a simple prediction of what the future looks like. Something like, how much will I earn in 10 years' time? Most of the studies are better described as analyses. They answer a much tighter question, so they can be more precise, along the lines of, how much will I earn in 10 years' time if I go to university? The government's answer to the question, will Britain end up worse off than staying in the EU is, well, it depends on what Brexit means. But the results closest to the government's policy suggest the answer is, Britain will be roughly 4% worse off than it would have been in 15 years' time. The Bank of England's report was different. It suggested a catastrophic recession starting in March next year if Britain doesn't do any deal with the EU. But this wasn't a forecast either. It was a scenario, and the one chosen was, what's the worst that could happen? If it didn't give a bleak answer, the scenario chosen would have been wrong. It's like asking, what am I likely to earn if I get kicked out of uni for dealing drugs? So, will we be poorer? Sounds like you're asking me to forecast. The studies don't do that. What they do say is whatever happens, people are likely to be richer in 15 years' time than now, but they would be richer still if the country forgot all about Brexit. What also matters is the type of Brexit. In all of the studies, the closer Britain's ties to the EU after departure, the better. That's because the EU is Britain's biggest trading partner, and any change raises big trade barriers. The analyses also suggest that trade deals with other countries, often seen as a big Brexit win, are almost worthless. That's because tariffs are already low and trade deals do not generally attack many other barriers to trade like different regulations. And they suggest that the more Britain restricts European migration, the bigger the costs, because EU migrants are young and work, contributing more to the public finances than they receive in public spending. As it stands, a 4% loss is roughly missing out on 3 years of normal growth over 15 years. So, should we trust and believe all these numbers and models? Trust, yes. These haven't been fiddled to give a certain answer. Believe, no. None of these estimates will be precisely correct. They don't offer us a crystal ball telling us what the future will be like. But they do let us see what's important and ask difficult questions about the type of Brexit we prefer. They also help us to think about the biggest one of all. Is Brexit worth the pain to come?